You're listening to PetLifeRadio.com.
You're planning a vacation, an escape from the day-to-day routine of everyday life. You're looking forward to getting pampered in some sun-bathed tropical island getaway, surrounded by cool, balmy breezes with the soothing, relaxing sounds of calypso music playing distantly in the warm island air. Doesn't it sound wonderful? Well, don't leave your pets at home. They want to go too. Welcome to Travel Tales, the show where you'll get great travel ideas on perfect places for you and your pet. From Paris to paradise, south of the border to the South Seas, Travel Tales will give you cool tips on fun vacation destinations to travel with your pet, pet-friendly hotels, and advice on how to travel safely and happily with your furry best friends. So get ready to pack the bags and the bones with your Travel Tales hosts, Susan Sims and Nicholas Vezlosky.
Hi, everybody. I'm Susan Sims.
And I'm Nicholas Vezlosky. We are your hosts for Travel Tales on Pet Life Radio. And as editor and publisher of Fido Friendly Magazine, we know travel.
That's right, and we can't wait to share our years of dog travel experience with you during our podcast each week.
On today's show, we will be visiting with Fido Friendly managing editor Arden Moore.
You know, Arden is terrific. She multitasks better than anyone I know. She's an author, she's an animal behaviorist, and she also has her own show on Pet Life Radio called Oh Behave!
Yeah, and it's always fun talking with Arden. And this time she's going to tell us about her houseboat trip that she had recently with her two dogs in Northern California. And especially for this interview, I had my cup of coffee because Susan told me to perk up, and so I have 2 cups down on my belt, and I'm ready to go.
Well, I think you have a little bit of jet lag, but we'll talk about that later. So we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll get to visit with Arden Moore. So sit and stay. We'll be right back with Travel Tales on Pet Life Radio.
Attention passengers, please fasten your seatbelts, put your seat backs and sleeping pets in their full upright position, and prepare for takeoff. Travel Tales will be zooming back with more great travel tips right after this.
There's nothing like a shaggy dog, baby. They're shagadelic. And this is the place to find out how to have harmony in the household with your pets. Oh, yeah. So stop by our pad every week and get switched on, baby. Switched on to the show that's all about attitude. Oh, behave. With your groovy host, pet edutainer Arden Moore. Yeah, baby, yeah. Every week on demand on PetLifeRadio.com.
Pets are part of the family, and when traveling with your dog, there's only one magazine to include when packing your doggie's duffel bag, and that's Fido Friendly, the travel and lifestyle magazine for you and your dog. Each bi-monthly issue includes hotel, city, and state reviews, and doggy destinations to explore with your furry companion. Fido Friendly magazine can be found at Borders, Barnes & Noble, PetSmart, Pet Boutiques, and Fido Friendly hotels nationwide. Or you can go online to subscribe at www.fidofriendly.com. So get traveling with your pet today and leave no dog behind. And remember, Fido Friendly's the only magazine dedicated to the travel lifestyle of man's best friend, and the one magazine your dog will thank you for.
Let's Talk Pets on PetLifeRadio.com.
Attention passengers, we are now approaching our final destination. The weather is sunny and warm. Ocean temperature is a balmy 80 degrees for those of you wishing to doggy paddle. Please exit to the front and see our activities directors, Susan and Nicholas, on your way out. Have a pleasant stay.
And welcome back. This is Nicholas Vezlosky along with Susan Sims, your host for Travel Tales on Pet Life Radio. Joining us today is author and animal behaviorist Arden Moore. Hey Arden, how you doing?
Hey, big paws up to you and Susan. How's it going, guys?
Hi, Arden.
And I haven't had coffee yet, so oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh.
Very afraid. This is natural natural caffeinated me, so you should be glad I'm not near a coffee pot right now.
This is very, very scary.
Yeah.
Sometimes it can be.
So listen, I just want to get right into it. You had the most fun recently. You got to go take your dogs and some friends and jump on a houseboat. How was that?
Oh, it's a really rough gig, let me tell you. I grew up on a lake, so I'm like a dog in water, pardon the pun. And I love to swim, and I love the lake. And for an upcoming story in Fido Friendly, I will be talking about the adventures that I had and shared with 3 other two-leggers, Cindy, Randy, and Audrey, and 3 cool dogs, mine, Chipper, and Cleo, and this wonderful, fun corgi named Nigel. So we had small and large dogs. We had 1 big, large man and 3 average-sized chicks. And we were on a 15-passenger houseboat called the Escapade, which motors around Lake Shasta. For any of you that's big on geography, that's in northern California near a little town called Redding. It's near the Oregon border. Beautiful.
It wasn't too cold, was it?
No, we actually kind of scored by being in a more of an Indian summer atmosphere. It got a little nippy the last night, but no, we were really very fortunate. So I had never been on a big houseboat before, and I did what I could to try to prepare ahead of time. That saying, I do advise listeners to kind of roll with the waves when they're on a houseboat too.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh! Well, so the way that sounds like, what happened?
Well, I don't know if I should save the big adventure to the end and build up to a climax, or maybe I'll just go right into it. But the weather started getting rough.
There you go.
Beautiful houseboat was rocked. If not for the faithful Nigel, Corgi, and Cleo, the houseboat would be lost. No, I'm just kidding. We were having this wonderful time. It was like day 3, and this houseboat, for all those, if they just go to houseboats.com, they will see the houseboat. They get to see this little moving video of it. It's called the Escapade. It is probably it's beautiful. It's got a teak interior. It has, believe it or not, a jacuzzi on the top. Yes, it's
great.
a 2-decker. We had television set near the jacuzzi with a kitchen outdoors and downstairs in the gallery.
Wow,
we
that
got to
sounds
watch
like
the
you're,
Chicago
flipping it.
Bears win while we were in the jacuzzi at night, which is awesome because in my previous life I was a sports editor from Chicago. And so life was good. And then, dun, 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 Audrey, Cindy, Chipper, Cleo, and Nigel and myself decided the boat was moored. We were having like our own private peninsula. It's pretty cool. You don't have a lot of zillions of tourists and people around. It's you and nature. So we decided to take a walk around this peninsula, and we looked up, and honest to goodness, we did see an eagle, a bald eagle. We thought, hey, this is an awesome day. The dogs are off leash. We're off leash too. And we're walking, and the dogs, you could just see the glee in their face. They're like, oh my gosh, we don't have a leash. This is, wow, we have this freedom. And we got to this one cove area. We were probably about 10 minutes from where we had docked our boat, and Randy was on the boat, and he was saying, hey, you women and dogs, you go ahead and go out. I'm going to go shower and just kind of chill out on the boat. We said, fine. We're sitting on the cove. We're doing our meditation. Our pets, on their own, came up and cuddled with all of us, which is just the nicest kind of greeting when the dog decides on their own, we love you. We're watching this beautiful scenery, and we could hear this kind of, hey, Audrey! Hey, Arden! Hey, Cindy! And we noticed that the wind started picking up, and we didn't really think much of it. So we started heading back to the boat, and we came up over the hill, and all of a sudden, we saw what we did not want to see. The anchors, these posts that you put into the ground at 45-degree angles, as was instructed, had somehow lifted off the ground where anchoring the bote. The boat was parallel to the shore, getting ready to be beached onto the shore. And here was a half-naked man with soap suds going, oh my God, what am I supposed to do? Now, I don't want to say cried like a girl, but it was getting close, and he's a manly man. And we ran down there, and fortunately, one of our travelers, Cindy, her dad worked at a marina in Michigan. She grew up on a marina. She knows a starboard from a port and a bow from a stern. Thank goodness.
That's handy.
She was able to command to us everything we needed to be. We were decks on the hand. We had to make sure that the prop wasn't getting caught in the dirt and bending. And oh my gosh, all of a sudden the whole sky just turned dark, and it was Gilligan's Island all over again. And it was so scary but exhilarating at the same time, because we were kind of like really being pampered for this trip, and this one was really taxing us. And just by working as a team, we were able to free ourselves from the shore area and get out and be into safety. But I noticed that it was pretty comical about how the 3 dogs individually reacted to this. Example,
how'd they do?
my little dog Cleo, the little she's a little 12-pound terrier, I think Maltese mix, right? Mm-hmm. She gave us the look like, oh my gosh, does this mean my paws are going to get muddy? Oh no, that's not going to happen. So we hoisted her up like a little human chain to get her safely into the boat, and we put her in one of the bedrooms and shut the door so she didn't, get in danger.
Okay.
The corgi, Nigel, who has a obsession just like your dog, Nicholas, has with balls, did not even sense any danger, was like to his owner, Audrey, well, can you just keep throwing the rocks to me? I'll go bring them back. Throw me the rocks. I'll bring them back. My dog, Chipper, okay, so I'm going to brag. My little husky golden retriever is like, where is my super Chipper cape? This is a job for Chipper. What do you need me to do? I will steer the boat. I will push the boat. I will do whatever you want me to do, but I am here for you. And so we got them all safely on board, and we motored into the marina that night because the next day we were leaving. We decided we weren't going to take a chance with fate, and we were safe and all. But the bottom line is this. These houseboats can be wonderful trips. I was so appreciative of the opportunity. It does, though, you do need to pay attention to the instructions when they give them to you during the orientation, and realize that you're basically out there by yourself. There's no, you don't have a bunch of deckhands. It's you. So make sure you pick people that you can work with as a team and that do have some sort of boating knowledge and common sense. And I was very fortunate that our boat was full of that, and especially Admiral Cindy, because she just really knew what she was doing, and we listened, like obedient Labradors, and we got out of harm's way.
Well, I like what you said, that she knew her way around the boat, and she knew the port and the stern. And I wanted to say I know the difference between port and a Cabernet, but that's about it. So I don't think I would have.
I know you do. Yeah, me too. That didn't seem to help me there.
I know.
There was no cork. There was an anchor. But it's a very safe, very nice boat. You have a phone right there that if you're in a jam, you can call the marina. And, we did call them, and they were, ready to help us out. And Cindy said, we're going to give it a try. And there, we were fine. But you're not totally isolated. But when you do step on board a houseboat, you make sure that you have everything that you need, because there's no floating McDonald's or Outback restaurant in the middle of Lake Shasta.
I was just going to say, it's kind of like Roughing It in a way, but not really the way this sounds.
With the
Roughing It, I get it.
But bring your food. I mean, there's a bunch of shopping areas and supermarkets about 10 to 15 miles before the marina in Lake Shasta, as probably in other places. And we loaded up and got ice and all that. I mean, the place had a refrigerator better than mine with an ice maker, a dishwasher, televisions everywhere. There were 2 master bedrooms, 2 bathrooms. It was very, very, very nice, very beautiful scenery. We were able actually to get internet reception. So one of the other gals and I were both finishing up pet books. So, in the afternoon, we devoted a few hours to doing some work on our books. But wow, in heaven, that's not a bad place to work. And
that sounds pretty good. Is it seasonal? I mean, do they have it all year round, or is there special times to go?
I believe it is mostly year-round. I mean, obviously, we purposely picked the non-peak time because we didn't want to ding into their steady number of people, and it was easier to book a reservation. Because the boats do have heaters and air conditioners down below. It's kind of fun. And the windows you can open up with screens or not. So we slept really well at night. Lake Shasta is a beautiful, beautiful area. It's I'm just telling you, I got up earlier than any one of them. I don't know why. I got to see every sunrise while they were. I could hear Randy's going. So I took the dogs out, and we would head out. And you can dock anywhere. You know, you motor out
Right.
to your own private little cove, and you set your little anchors in, and then you enjoy. So that answers the question I had. What do you do when the dogs have to go to the bathroom?
Exactly.
Come on, let's be
And-
honest. Everybody's wondering, how do they pee? Is there a poop deck? Well,
There is, right? You know, we took our two dogs a couple years ago. We were in Shasta, and we had a 12-foot houseboat, and it was similar in when you first start out. I mean, this is not like your normal deal. It's not like jumping in your car and going down the freeway. So there was a little getting used to maneuvering, and when we found our special little cove and we slept there in the night, and we pulled the curtains in the morning, there were deer. There was probably like 4 or 5 deer in this cove, and when we opened up the curtains, we couldn't believe how beautiful it was. So, I mean, it's just we didn't let the dogs see them, of course, because that would have put the end of that. But it really is beautiful for people that love to get out and get outdoors with their dogs, and obviously it's not camping, so but you still get to get the benefit of that sky and seeing all of the nature.
well, you get to go camping, but you can plug in your blow dryer. I mean, come on, and you have one shower. That's my idea of camping. You know, and so we ate really well. Every night, one of us would take our hand at being the boat chef, you know, and the dogs did well. But getting back to poop, because that's really important for our pets. Fortunately, there was a hose on the deck, so you could do that if there was any doggy doo-doo or whatever. But we were able to time it so that they could land on shore and do their thing. But we also brought with us this really cool portable dog potty pad. It looks like fake grass, and it has this scent on it that sort of says, "Come here, doggy. You can use me like a litter box. Come here. I want you to use your doo-doo and leave it here." And so they did kind of think about doing it, but then we were able to be on land a lot, so they didn't. But so if you are out and about and motoring around, I would also consider something like that. I would bring plenty of towels to wipe their muddy paws off, because believe me, they'll be muddy, and that's a really big thing. Bring some treats and their food. We made sure that our dogs only drank bottled water. We didn't want to take a chance of what was coming out of the tap or not. You don't want conditions like Giardia and all that. So, you know what? It's worth it to bring some bottled water for you and your doggies, and try to keep to their diet as much as possible. They're going to love it. Chipper had the biggest grin on her face. She was up on the deck where the jacuzzi was, and there was like a pad near the jacuzzi, so it kind of gave her a good grip. And she'd jump up and back, and she'd just lean over me while I'm in the jacuzzi. Okay, I did smoke a cigar and had what did I have? A chick cigar, a glass, and I had a chick cigar and a black licorice. I thought I was really the cat's meow. And she was just like, "Oh my God, you've gone crazy." But I'm really happy. And
Did
I
you
could
ever
just
end
see
up
the
in that jacuzzi tub?
No, she didn't, thank goodness. But she
good.
ran along the shore. She loved it. She was running along shore, and when we did have the weather was getting rough episode, she was trying to get into the boat, but the mud there was sinking, and she's long-legged, and she was trying to get on the boat. So we ended up having to do like chairs that we pushed into those little plastic patio chairs. We pushed them into the mud to give her like 2 chairs to be able to walk on to get onto the deck. I mean,
Oh, that was smart.
Yeah, a little dog sense here a little bit. Yeah. And
No, that was smart.
yeah, so we, everybody it was great, but just really make sure that you have plenty of food, plenty of water, plenty of things to do. We brought poker and all these board games, and we brought a bunch of DVDs, and you know what? We enjoyed nature so much and being able to watch the Bears win, yay, that we really didn't have time to play games. We spent time with each other, and we spent time with our pets. And to me, it was one of the best vacations I could ever recommend. This boat did seat, quote, 15. Don't be excited about that. I would recommend that if you want to really have fun, do it with a handful of people so that you all have private areas to go to at night, and that, there's not too many dogs. So for a 15-passenger, I sort of liked if it was, 5 or 6 people and 3 or 4 dogs, everybody would have plenty of room on the deck. But they do engineer good use of their space. They're very friendly there. We did go to the marina, and, they have a little store there if we want something. And I don't know. I just they really welcome dogs, and I guess cats come too sometimes. So
wow.
it's
I can't
definitely
imagine
worth it.
Can't imagine a cat wanting to go out in the water as much as a dog, but I've definitely seen some different cats in my day, so you never know.
Well, I have a friend that she and her husband retired as teachers, and they got a 42-foot boat, and their cat is their house cat. And I hate to tell you the name, you know me and poop, but the cat's name is Doo-Doo. Now, you don't want cat Doo-Doo running around on a marina, and you have to call for it. Doo-Doo! Here, Doo-Doo! I think, dum-dum! So, I've been on some outings with them, and Doo-Doo likes to get onto the marina and then go start, counter surfing at all the other boats that are docked to find out who has the best kitty caviar or whatever. And so Doo-Doo will just leave the boat and start making friends. So,
that's funny. I want to ask you real quick that when you go ahead and make these reservations, obviously they need to know if you're going to bring your pets, and are they charging extra fees for that?
They did not charge extra fees for the dogs, but they did warn you that if there was any doggy damage, you would be responsible for that. Mm-hmm. So, and on this one, no, but don't try to sneak on a dog or something. You really can't, because when you park and they come up to help you unload your stuff, it's kind of hard to hide a 60-pound golden retriever husky. So don't do that. They're pretty welcoming. You do need to worry, though, to make sure that you are going to be charged for the gas that you use on the boat, and you will use some gas even if you don't go very far, because obviously your generator and things like that. And you do have to kind of put down a safety deposit that is refundable, just to make sure you're not going to Tahiti in this boat and never coming back. But, they really are very welcoming, and they want you to enjoy your time there.
Do you actually have to have a boater's license, or, who takes on the role of captain, and do you end up going and, escort down the river, or how does that usually work?
Well, what they did for us is we all had to have driver's license, we all had to have insurance, but they also give us a brief orientation, and there's a video that you have to watch, and there's a person there that will take the boat out for you safely from the marina. Then they get to hop on a little speedboat and they leave, and they really show you how to work and turn on the engine and turn on the generator. So you're basically, it's pretty easy. It's I can do it. So I'm telling everybody, it's easy. And they give you tips on how to land at a shore safely, how to anchor the boat. But when you are getting ready to get back to the marina, because it's kind of tricky. It's like, a parking lot at Christmas where everybody's parking the compact car parking lot, and there's somebody with a semi trying to squeeze in. So really what they do is they meet and greet you before you get into the marina area, and one of their folks gets on the boat and actually steers it into the slot, your slip, if you will. So you don't have to worry about monkeying around with that sort of thing. But you're out there, and so it is kind of exciting and exhilarating and very freeing. And so my pets slept the whole way home. I'm sure they have great doggy memories. They found this old fossiled pine cone that Chipper found. Of course, it had to be disgusting and stinky. And of course, Nigel and Leo had to help her play with it. So they got a lot of baths.
I think too, another thing is important when people go on things like that is when we had our boat experience, when we got home and we were grooming their dogs, they picked up a couple of ticks. So, thinking that they're deer out there. So that's something you want to just be prepared for, make sure they're up on their meds and preventative type of thing, but also just, kind of do a once over. If you can get rid of those critters, the sooner the better.
Well, that's a very good point, Susan. And what I would do every time the pets got back on the boat, I would give them a head-to-tail inspection to make sure there were no burrs, spurs, cuts, whatever. Hose them down with the hose to get rid of any mud, which was plenty. But like you, I made sure they all had their heartworm, their flea and tick protection before they got on that boat. And they all kept their collars on and their IDs, and they had microchips. Because you just don't know, and it's safer. I also brought extra leashes and collars, and we did bring aboard a Bow Wow first aid kit just in case. And we never needed it. We brought life preservers for the dogs. I meant to mention that too, because when we having that time, we did put all 3 of the dogs in life preservers before we got them onto the boat from shore because we just didn't want to take a chance.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's very smart.
Yeah, it is. It's important. We bought life jackets for our dogs too. Being out here on the river, we haven't had to use them yet, but we're ready in case we get to go. And Nicholas has taken his dog out on kayaks and used the life jacket for her. And it gets a lot of attention for sure. But you just want your pets to be safe, and you want to come back with the same pets you left with.
You want to get them used to the life preserver before you go on a houseboat. And I took them to a place that does water therapy for dogs, and it's like a giant spa, if you will. And Chipper and Cleo got to swim around wearing their life preservers and getting treats, and we made a big whoop of it. So when you had to put the life jackets on them when we needed to, when the weather was turning, they were like, oh, yeah, we've done this before. So it's very important to prep them before you go on a boat.
For our listeners out there regarding the life jackets, these things are really fit pretty snugly around the canine body. And what's really handy, especially when I've gone on little kayak trips with Tasha, is that it has a handle on the top. So when Tasha does her little trick of going overboard every 2 minutes, swims around, gets tired or something like that, then I can just pull her up. So at first it was a little awkward because she's got to get used to it. But once they get used to the life jacket, once they get used to the fact that you're going to be pulling them up by the handle, I think they feel a little bit more comfortable wearing that, and they know it's a good thing.
That's a very good point. Yeah, definitely, Nicholas. Those are the best ones to get. They also make these portable doggy steps that you can also get. So, if they go noodling around on the internet, there's some good companies that do offer these life jackets, and they like the doggy poop, portable poop pad, and the doggy steps. So, and if you plan to do a lot of boating, it's well worth your investment.
I think everyone should email Arden at Pet Life Radio, and she can tell everybody where to go and get all these wonderful things. And I can't wait for your article to come out in Fido Friendly Magazine so we can see some great pictures and find out some contact information. So thank you so much for taking some time and talking with us today.
Oh, Susan, Nicholas, you're more than welcome, and happy sales to you.
Thanks, Arden.
Okay, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we have a fun Florida experience that we want to share with you, and you don't want to miss it. So sit and stay. We'll be right back with Travel Tales on Pet Life Radio.
Attention passengers, please fasten your seatbelts, put your seat backs and sleeping pets in their full upright position, and prepare for takeoff. Travel Tales will be zooming back with more great travel tips right after this.
Having a rough day? Longing for the dog days of summer? Think your fun furry friend lives a dog's life? Well, find out everything you're begging to know as Pet Life Radio presents It's a Doggy Dog World with pet expert and award-winning author Liz Palaika. Every dog has his day, and you'll find out how to make your dog's day fun and rewarding. Every week, on demand, only on PetLifeRadio.com. Let's Talk Pets on PetLifeRadio.com.
Attention passengers, we are now approaching our final destination. The weather is sunny and warm. Ocean temperature is a balmy 80 degrees for those of you wishing to doggy paddle. Please exit to the front and see our activities directors, Susan and Nicholas, on your way out. Have a pleasant stay.
Welcome back to Pet Life Radio. This is Nicholas Benslowski along with Susan Sims, your host for Travel Tales. Before the break, we were talking with Arden Moore about her latest Fido-friendly travel experience via houseboat. And I just want to remind all our listeners out there that if you wanted to schedule your own houseboat adventure, you can go to houseboats.com and see some of the other locations that they have over the U.S. It's not just Lake Shasta, but they have a few other locations that you'll be able to go. And, something might be perk your interest a little bit more than the others, but definitely take a look. And you also can go ahead and reach Arden Moore at her website, ardenmoore.com. You can visit all of her blogs and get some contact information if you want to ask her any questions.
Yeah, Arden sure had a good time, and she raised a lot of important tips for us to remember and to let everyone know out there that, with a little bit of planning, you can plan a vacation like this so that you and your dog can have, great adventures together. And just be aware of when you're going to a houseboat or anything that you're not familiar with, just really sit down and think of all the things that you need, things that you need to take with you, but also plan for the safety, for you, your passengers, and your dog.
Yeah, that's right. And she also made a good point is be sure if you're going on an adventure like this that you're going to be slightly roughing it, although it didn't sound like she was roughing it too much, but to make sure that you pick the proper shipmates, somebody that's going to be able to help you when you're in a jam, because when you go outside of the hotel element and you're in an accommodation, especially one that is floatable, you're going to have to think pretty quickly on your feet if something were to come up. So you want to make sure that you have all the right hands that will be able to help out.
And I know in a lot of our excursions, we get to go to a lot of nice hotels, and they're not the floating kind. And I understand, Nicholas, that you just came back from a nice, wonderful trip to Florida. Where did you get to go?
Oh, that's right. Yeah, in fact, you made a comment earlier about my coffee. I have a little bit jet lag. I'm still with a time change, I'm about 3 hours. So I'm already in bed. But I just got back from Pompano Beach in Florida, which is right near Fort Lauderdale. So I guess it's where you want me to talk about it.
Well, sure. Well, I didn't get to go on this trip. So where did you stay?
Oh, that's a very good question, Susan. Actually, the place that I stayed at was the Ocean Sands Resort and Spa. And that's probably about a 20-minute drive from the Fort Lauderdale International Airport. Although, if you're taking a taxi cab, it's probably about 15 minutes, maybe, depending on what kind of tip you're going to give your cabbie. But actually, this is one of the locations. I mean, the hotel is really nice, and I'll definitely get to that. But in staking out any type of location that you're going to want to go to and spend time with your dog, you want to see how close you are to everything. Meaning, if you're going to want to go somewhere while you're in a different spot that you're definitely going to have to fly into, you want to see, is everything in walking distance, or am I going to have to rent a car? And this one is definitely a rent-a-car location. Almost everything is probably within 15 to 20 minutes. And although you may find a cabbie that you can, bring your dog along with, it's probably better for not only your pocketbook, but also just your comfort to be able to have a car. So this location was definitely one that required having a transportation. So I would recommend renting a car.
This resort, I don't know if all the resorts are on the beach, but this particular one, when you look at their website, it looks like all the rooms have a ocean view.
Yeah, it's really neat how they set this up. I mean, it's a new hotel. In 2001, that is when they broke ground and they built the hotel. And then in 2006, they did a renovation. So not only is it new, but it's new. So, and the design of the hotel was actually to model after a cruise ship. So all of the windows in every suite or hotel room, and there's about 89, which are all Fido-friendly, which we love to hear, they're all facing the ocean. So wherever you're going to be located within the hotel, you're going to hear the ocean, you're going to see the ocean, you're going to smell the ocean, you're going to be the ocean.
Well, so how about your room? Did you have? I know it seems more and more when you get to go to these nice properties that when you get into your room, you have maybe the room has a little refrigerator, but I think yours had a kitchen.
Yeah, no, I was actually pretty surprised on how well stocked the room was. And you walk in, there's 3 different rooms. There's a studio, there's a smaller 2-bedroom, and then there's a larger 2-bedroom suite. And the one I had was actually towards the back of the hotel. So if you must be the front of the front and the best of the best, then I would get one of the rooms that end in 12. So like probably 312, 412, 512. Mm-hmm. And all the way up, I think it goes to 10 was the penthouse, or as a woman in the elevator referred to it as the poorhouse suite. But you would want to probably get one of those rooms because it has probably the most window-facing ocean views. And so right when you walk in, to the right is the washer and dryer, and then to the left is the one bedroom suite, which is kind of like the kids' suite. Kids' bedroom, and then you go straight ahead, and then you have the living room area, and then to the right is the grown-ups or adults suite, which also has a sliding door for the ocean and balcony. So it's set up really nice, but the whole hotel overall is set up to be not only people friendly, but it is kid friendly and it's Fido friendly, and it goes above and beyond. It just doesn't accept pets. It really welcomes pets. There's no weight limit, and that right there is a big key factor for us when we're reviewing hotels. If there is no weight limit, that automatically signals to us what type of hotel this is going to be. So I always enjoy going to a weight limitless hotel. They don't have many restrictions on the number of dogs. Of course, you're not going to have 101 Dalmatians coming in, but if you have a few dogs or something like that, they're open to that. So really nice.
What else do you get anything when you check in with your dog, or any kind of pet amenity, that type of thing?
Yeah, right when you check in, and the pet fee, just to let everybody know, because I know that's one of my top concerns is it going to be an arm and a leg? And it's not too bad. It's $25 per pet per night, and it's included within the program. They give you a food and water dish, a leash in case you've left it on the flight. You don't have to worry if you forgot to pack that, and also organic dog treats. And we always like that. It's kind of like a special touch. It's not just your run of the mill biscuit. It's actually something that they said, okay, well, this is going to be good for the dog. So that's included in the package as well, and it's all part of their Doggy Paws pet program.
Oh, that's what they call it. And then they have room service, so I would imagine you could order your, a top sirloin for your pet if that's, something you wanted to do.
Yeah, whenever you're ordering meat, and, there's probably some things that you would want to make sure about, and make sure that the meat doesn't have any seasoning. You don't have to cook it well done, but rare's probably fine. I don't want to give too much advice simply just because I'm not a vet, but if you are going to order human food for your dog, the best advice that I would be able to give is to make sure that there are no spices or herbs or anything that your dog may have an allergic reaction to. One time Tasha ended up getting into a tortilla soup. Tasha's my black lab for everyone that's just tuning in for the first time, and she got into one of our tortilla soups one time by accident, with quotation marks. And in the morning, around 3 or 4 a.m., she came to the side of my bed, and I was thinking, this is way too early for her to want to go outside. And so I kind of got up, and when I turned on the lights, I was kind of thrown back because her whole face was swollen up.
Oh, my God.
This was just from a little bit, So I think any amount of herbs or spices can really affect your dog adversely. It wouldn't be wise to give them anything like that.
Yeah. Well, what did you get to do in that area? Did you have to, jump in the taxi or rent a car to take her to the beach, or did they allow the dogs on the beach?
Yeah, well, right out in front of the hotel, and this is kind of where everybody gets to play, a little roulette or gamble a little bit. Right in front of the hotel is beautiful beach, and of course there are no dogs allowed. Well, that being said, I'm going to put in parentheses, and since I guess the whole editor tricks are coming out, so that's why I always quote in parentheses everything. But I saw throughout every single day about a dozen dogs on the beach. I also talked with a bunch of people that were walking their dogs. A lot of them were tourists, but then I got lucky enough to find some locals that were walking their dogs, and I asked them, I said, is there a fine if you have your dog on the beach? And they said, yeah. And they said it's probably about $200 to $300 of a fine, which is pretty steep. So the next question, of course, I naturally asked was, well, have you ever been caught? And almost everybody, said no. And this one gal, she was emphatic, and she even said, I've been on this beach probably about 1,000 times. I've never had a problem. She said, but if you do want, dog-friendly beach, just up about a quarter of a mile, there's a lighthouse, a really neat lighthouse. I think it was built in the early 1900s. At least that's what I'm going to say, so it puts some character on it. But it's just down the way. You can even see it from the hotel room, and sometimes you don't want to see it because the light's coming into your room. But it's just south of that lighthouse. There's a little strip. It's in between a jetty and the lighthouse. I heard was off leash and dog friendly, so you can bring your dog there. Another couple of cool locations that I really was intrigued about. In the city of Hollywood, there's this thing called the Broadwalk. They don't call it the Boardwalk. They call it the Broadwalk. I have no idea why, but it's interesting enough to kind of make you want to go out there. But that's about 2 miles of auto-free beachside pedestrian promenade. So it's really nice to be able to take your dog there. That's, where everybody goes. Another location that, of course, is 15, 20 minutes away is called the River Walk. That's in downtown Fort Lauderdale. And the really neat thing about this place is that the first Sunday of every month, they have a brunch with a band. So everybody's out. All the dogs are welcome. And if you wanted to go to their website to check out the events that they have, it's www.goriverwalk.com. And that'll give you some more information. But the place that I would recommend that I really enjoyed it's Las Olas. And that, of course, and again, 15 to 20 minutes away. There's a theme going on here.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, but the only thing I can compare it to, and if anybody's from California or been to Santa Barbara, it's similar to State Street. It has a bunch of nice restaurants. It has galleries that you'd probably want to ask the owner. It's going to be dependent on who's working the gallery that night, if they're in a good mood or not. But you might be able to bring your dog in, but I would definitely ask beforehand. And then there's a few restaurants that you can have dining al fresco, and I saw even one dog perched up on a chair next to its owners while it was dining.
Oh my gosh! Well, what about the nightlife? I don't know what kind of policy they have, but I'm sure you experienced some nightlife while you were there. What kind of policy does the hotel have about leaving your dog in the room?
Well, they have a couple of good things that, if there's anything that you want as far as like pet sitting, pet walking, they even have pet grooming that will come and get your dog all fixed up and nice and pretty. They'll be able to arrange that through the front desk. So if you wanted somebody to come in your room and stay with your dog, they can do that. If you wanted to drop your dog off at a local kennel or a pet sitter, they can arrange that for you as well. But they're also pretty laid back as far as their policy. As long as you have a well-behaved dog, they're free to stay in the room. For anybody that is going to leave their dog in the room, I would definitely recommend putting a blanket or something to cover the couch or wherever your dog's going to be, perching up for the night, just because you want to respect the furniture in the place so that it's not as a hard job for the hotel staff to come in and clean. You can actually, save them a lot of trouble and make it look just as nice for the next people that are going to come through.
Well, that's good advice, and also if a lot of people have their dogs that are crate trained and they're used to going there and kind of get in their den mode, when you go out and your dog is crate trained, and it's easy for them to go in there and take a little snooze while you're out, enjoying the town.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's perfect. And also, their travel season, their high season is right about now. I think it's going to be through the end of November through March is probably, I think, when they peak. Of course, during the summer, you're going to have a lot more people, different types of crowd and things like that. But for the coolest weather, the less humidity, which I loved, you're going to want to probably go during this time up through March.
What about the room rate? Is that pretty expensive to stay there?
No, it's not too bad. I mean, it ranges anywhere from $109 with a AAA discount to $369, and then it goes on up to probably about $500 if you want to do a package. On site, the Ocean Sands Resort and Spa has a spa on the 4th floor, and it is really well done. They not only pamper you can go in there and get any type of package you want. I was fortunate enough to get my very first facial, which was a little nerve-wracking to begin with, but I definitely felt a lot better afterwards and glowy. But they also will have kids spas, so they'll do up the little girls, they'll do their hair, make a big deal out of it, and make them really feel special. And then also you can have your dog, they'll have a mobile pet grooming service come in, so everybody can get pampered at this hotel.
That sounds like so much fun. And for everybody listening, what's the website that they can go and check this out?
They're going to want to go to www.theoceansandsresortandspa.com, and they'll find all the information that that they need there. It's right on the sand. And like I said a little bit before, if you want to be feeling really special, definitely get one of the end rooms towards the back where it's in the 12s, so like 312 or 412 or 512, something like that.
That sounds fun. And you're going to write about that in the January-February issue of Fido Friendly magazine?
Yes, I will have some great pictures and more information on what you can do in the area and what it's near. And I will also definitely recommend, once again, in that article to rent a car, because I think that is what's going to make it fun.
Yeah, it sounds smart. Well, we're going to take a quick break, and our Fido Friendly travel tip is coming up next. So sit and stay. We will be right back with Travel Tales on Pet Life Radio.
Attention passengers, Please fasten your seatbelts, put your seat backs and sleeping pets in their full upright position, and prepare for takeoff. Travel Tales will be zooming back with more great travel tips right after this. School's in session on Pet Life Radio with Teacher's Pet. Learn how to communicate with your pet, train your pet, and see the world from your pet's point of view. You may even learn a few tricks yourself. Teacher's Pet with pet expert and author Sarah Wilson. Only on PetLifeRadio.com.
Pets are part of the family, and when traveling with your dog, there's only one magazine to include when packing your doggie's duffel bag, and that's Fido Friendly, the travel and lifestyle magazine for you and your dog. Each bi-monthly issue includes hotel, city, and state reviews, and doggy destinations to explore with your furry companion. Fido Friendly magazine can be found at Borders, Barnes & Noble, PetSmart, Pet Boutiques, and Fido Friendly hotels nationwide. Or you can go online to subscribe at www.fidofriendly.com. So get traveling with your pet today and leave no dog behind. And remember, Fido Friendly's the only magazine dedicated to the travel lifestyle of man's best friend, and the one magazine your dog will thank you for.
Let's Talk Pets on PetLifeRadio.com.
Attention passengers, we are now approaching our final destination. The weather is sunny and warm. Ocean temperature is a balmy 80 degrees for those of you wishing to doggy paddle. Please exit to the front and see our activities directors, Susan and Nicholas, on your way out. Have a pleasant stay.
Welcome back to Pet Life Radio. This is Nicholas Veslowski along with Susan Sims, your host for Travel Tales. You know, my recent trip to Florida reminded me of a very important pet travel tip, something that Cesar Millan told me. And that is, when you arrive at your destination, you want to show your dog that you are in control and in charge. When your dog gets to a new area, it is very overwhelming for them, more so than us. Of course, we're excited and we get a new experience and we get to see everything, but you put a dog in that situation, and if they're not held back, then their senses kind of go wild. They get all over the place with smelling, with looking at things, get all excited, and they might even get outside of their own personality. So one of the best things to do is to keep your dog behind you slightly. And that shows that you are the leader of the pack, you're the alpha, and they're pretty much going to follow your lead. Don't let them run around out of control. Definitely not off leash. I don't think any of our listeners would do that. But also just keep them back. Keep that lead short and let them know that this new area is something that you have firm control over, and then they'll feel much better and less panic or have less anxiety.
Yeah, I think that's a good tip. I know when we travel, and this happens every time without fail. My two labs, I affectionately call them my hooligans. As soon as we open the door and we let them, if we let them go ahead of us into the room and we let them off leash, they run around and smell everything, as quickly as they can. And then they head to the bathroom and they're waiting for me to give them water, because that's our routine. That I feed them and I give them their water in the bathroom on the ceramic tile, and they know that, so they expect that. And it's funny, it always happens. It's smell, and then they go in and they're panting. I don't even think they're thirsty. They're just excited, and they, as soon as they have that drink of water, it happens every time. They go in and they just lay down on the floor. I mean, it's really remarkable.
Well, it's definitely important to know your dog, and that I think is really good. Kind of what you just said is that if you have a set routine for them, they'll become comfortable in their new environment. It'll be something definitely new, but also still the same, just because they have that routine down. It makes them feel a little bit more secure.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. And, as always, if you want to find out more about today's topics or just about traveling with Fido, you can go online to FidoFriendly.com to subscribe, or stop in your local Borders, Barnes & Nobles, or PetSmart and pick up a copy of Fido Friendly today. And we would love to hear from you with any questions or comments, so feel free to email us at Pet Life Radio. And until next time, safe travels, leave no dog behind. This is Susan Sims along with Nicholas Veslowski for Travel Tales on Pet Life Radio.
Pet Life Radio presents Travel Tales, the show where you'll get great travel ideas on perfect places for you and your pet. From Paris to paradise, south of the border to the South Seas, Travel Tales will give you cool tips on fun vacation destinations to travel with your pet, pet-friendly hotels, and advice on how to travel safely and happily with your furry best friends. So, get ready to pack the bags and the bones with your Travel Tales hosts, Susan Sims and Nicholas Veslowski, every week on demand, only on PetLifeRadio.com.